My life matters.
We always talk about white people killing black people, but we don't talk enough about black on black crime. We kill each other.
My life matters.
Kansas City is different.
Stuff can happen at a moment.
My life matters.
Say for instance, somebody made me mad, I do the first thing that comes to my mind.
My life matters.
We just go and just retaliate now or just get revenge on anything.
My life matters.
I mean, we've got about 170 homicides already in the city this year.
My life matters.
I saw the news, and an 11-year-old girl was shot and killed, and that's all I saw.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Gary B. Jr. here, talking to you guys on FreeShow Friday. I'm your media consultant, and I'm excited to connect with you guys. We got some stuff to talk about, obviously, but I want to hear from you all as well. I've switched some things up in the studio, so if things look different, it's in limbo, I guess. I worked hard this morning to try to get it going. Um, Let me know how it sounds, how it looks, and all that good stuff. It shouldn't be much of a difference, but um, I wanted to make sure that I did my best to try to get things updated, get things streamlined. There's a lot of things that I'm working on behind the scenes to simplify the studio space and working on some other projects. So trying to be as flexible as I can to intermingle all the equipment and all that good stuff to make it make sense for what I need to do. So I see a bunch of folks on. I got Mr. Terry Ray one joining in. Terry's from Georgia. I know, or he lives in Georgia. I know that much. We got Jim Lawyer from Ohio. Jim, I asked you a question on there. Let me know. Do you ride bicycles? I see that bicycle man on there. Is that you making it happen? And if so, talk to us about these bicycles, man. I've ridden in the past, not necessarily like that. Like I don't have a super fast bike. I got a oh man, it's been a little while since I rode my bike. I can't even remember what I got now. It's a hybrid. I know that it's a hybrid bike, so it's not a gravel bike, but it's kind of like the next best thing to a gravel bike, I should say. So it's kind of a dual type bike. We got M. Smith, Mr. Mark, joining us as well. Good morning, my friend. And let's see here, Ryan Culverwell, what's going on from Zimbabwe? Welcome, welcome, welcome. And let's see here. Mark, remind me where you're from again. Remind me where you're from, Mark. I want to make sure I keep up with this with you guys. Let's see. T. Hooper's joining in from Jersey Shore. Isn't that a TV show? Am I making that up? Is that like a TV show? Because every time I read it, I feel like I'm reading like T. Hooper, some kind of actor or actress or something like that. And so I'm like, are you on the set? Are you on the set, T of Jersey Shore? That would be crazy. That would be crazy, but I would love it. I would love it. So let's see here. What do we got going on? Let me see. If you guys joined in on In the Lab, Free Show In the Lab with me on Monday, I kind of broke the syncing option. I tried it out and I didn't know what I was doing. And so it was kind of all over the place, but it was good. It was a good trial. We had some good feedback from it where folks were trying it out themselves. And it turns out I wasn't too crazy. The team at Free Show let me know that, hey, Gary, you there were some things that were not working right. And so we figured them out. And since then, there's been a beta 1.5.6 beta 3. Okay, so if we go to here, and let me turn that off. If we go here to the download section of Free Show, you will see, you probably saw this. If you have your updating your notification for betas on Free Show, every time you open up Free Show, you'll see it. But there was the media sync folder that was updated here. So the new cloud sync was updated in beta 2. Okay. Autotech newly downloaded media project and files, which is cool. And then there were some cloud sync updates that they made. It says new items positioned smarter. Pretty cool. I don't even know what that means, but I think that's pretty cool. Updated languages and small tweaks. And then some of the bug fixes were the cloud sync fixes, some scripture fixes, fixed auto project import. Auto project import not working. Okay. Fixed an emitter created with no ID sometimes. I think I have seen that. And then fix freeze when the local Bible file did not exist. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Let's see here. Okay. Kalispell in MT. Is that Montana? Remind me. Look, I'm not good with geography. Like I said, I've been reading and seeing all these different countries and stuff. I'm like, I need to brush up on geography. MT is that Montana? Somebody correct me on that. And then T Hooper, born and raised here. That's all. I love it. I love it. I love it. So with this beta 3, there's a lot to talk about with this cloud syncing. If you want to learn more about cloud syncing right now, like in terms of Free Show Friday, let me know. I'm working on a video about it. But if you want to learn more about it right now, we can talk more about that as well, just to kind of break down, because a lot of us on Free Show in the lab, we were working through trying to figure this thing out together. So I really appreciate those who jumped in. For me, it's an early morning meeting. For some of you guys, it's a midday meeting on the other side of the world, which is great. And then others, it's even earlier on the West Coast as you get further west in America. So those who jump in on In the Lab, I love it. Thanks for jumping in and joining. Let's see here. We got Mia Joseph, 3715 says, hello, Gary. Following you from England. Welcome from England, my friend. You're a great mentor and tutor. I'm the media lead in our ministry and was able to migrate to Free Show with your videos only. That is awesome, my friend. Thank you and God bless you. God bless you as well. That is so cool. I'm excited to play a part in anybody's journey in terms of helping you all be more empowered with your media. And this is the goal. That's the mission for this whole channel. That's the mission that God sent me on when he first introduced me. When I first found out about Free Show, that was literally the invitation that God gave me. He was like, I want you to equip the nations with media. And I didn't think I was adequate to do it because I just considered myself a little black boy from Kansas City, just truth be told. And so I kind of questioned if that was really going to be the case, that I would be able to reach any nations in that way. And God reminded me of how great he is. And so I'm grateful every time I get to see. That's why I always ask, where you guys from? Because it's a reminder of God's promise and his goodness to say, hey, you're reaching the nations. All right. So Mark says, yeah, Montana. Awesome. Yeah. Beautiful Montana. I mean, okay. I got it. What's the weather in Montana right now? I'm curious because here in Atlanta, it's pretty cold. It is pretty cold. We got a cold front coming in. I think it's sweeping from the west all the way over. So you guys were probably cold last week in Montana. Over here, it's now hitting us. So really cool. Really cool. So Kimimia Joseph. I think that's how I'm gonna pronounce it at least. So tell me if I'm wrong, my friend. I apologize, but that's a blessing to hear. I'm excited about that always. Truly. So if you want to play with the Cloud Sync, you want to make sure you try out Beta 3. Okay. Your gifts will make room for you. I appreciate you, T. That's so true. So true. We've been studying that, and it's been exciting. Let's see here. 19 degrees right now in Montana. Okay, yeah, you got me beat. I think it was like 23 when I woke up here. So you got it a little bit chillier. And it probably feels a little colder than it does here too. I want to go through some of the comments first. So let me know in the chat. Do you guys want to see how the beta works? If you want to, like, is anybody planning to get a jump start on the syncing, the cloud syncing this weekend, right? If you want to do that, I'll make sure to show it. If not, I believe there's going to be a final version coming out, or a next version or whatnot in the coming weeks. I'm excited about that, but I think I got a good grasp on how this whole what's it called, the syncing thing works, so I can give you a heads up on that. In the meantime, I want to go into YouTube. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to my channel. Let's see. And you will see, actually, no, I want to go to my studio. I want to show you guys something here. Let me pull it into the comments because I want to make sure we answer any questions that came in this week as well. I want to make the most of this time together because some of the questions that may come in, you guys may not see them all, but they may be helpful for you as well. Just like we do together when we have these questions and share time together. It's really helpful to do that online with anybody that asks a question there as well. Okay. Let's see here. This video is priceless. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay, 6 days ago. Okay, 8 days ago. All right, so let's see here. M. Smith, already playing with the sync, but help. All right, I'm with the sync. Mr. Terry says, yes, I like to test or try syncing. Now, Mr. Terry Ray has been jumping in there head first, helping, sending me emails, letting me know, hey, he figured out this, I figured out this, I figured out that. And I'm like, that's what's up. So you guys, any feedback you can give me is going to be welcome. I definitely appreciate it. So keep it coming. Through email is usually best for me, but I'm always open to do my best to catch up with those. Now, I did have to update some things because I have a lot of people that have downloaded the free Bibles. We hit 4,000 Bible downloads in terms of the actual package. So it's more Bibles than just one in there, but 4,000 people have downloaded that Bible package that we released at the beginning of last year. And so I'm grateful for that. That was one of the things that was really something that I was excited about, to just get the Bible in the hands of you all, media leaders throughout the nations, so that people can read the Bible for themselves. You all are responsible, or you are The word media means medium, like in the middle of, right? In between. So you're between the messenger and the hearer, right? And so when you can present well, when you can be equipped to do this at a high level, it just makes the message easier to understand. And that's where those Bibles are so important for me as well, to be able to get those out to you guys, because that was the only thing that I felt like Free Show was missing at the time. And then since then, there've been a lot of updates. So if you guys haven't noticed, you can get the API new international version now. That's something that's really sweet. And you can get the API in new international readers version in Free Show with or without any special downloads. You can just get the API version and it'll be there, which is really, really cool. So I advise you guys to definitely check that out and download. Let's see here. Technical Department WCIDM says, hello, Gary. Following you from the UAE, Kenya to the world. All right, all right. I'm the media lead in our ministry, Winners Chapel International, Dubai Marina. And I was able to migrate to Free Show with your videos only. Man, that is so cool. So cool, my friend. Thank you so much for letting me know that. I'm excited. All right. So what is UAE? I got to know. Following you from UAE. I don't even know what that means. What is UAE? Let me know. Let me know. And you said it's called Kenya to the world, but you said you're in Dubai. Is that right? Our ministry is Winners Chapel International, Dubai Marina. Wow. I got to look up that stuff. I got to figure out where that is because that is so cool. I love that. I love that. And so here's some comments that came in this week. Someone just said to create gradients, right? Don't forget that you can create gradients in Free Show with your text, with boxes or text boxes and things like that, which is a really cool feature. Don't forget about that. A lot of stuff came out last year that was just unbelievable. I believe that Christopher, the developer of Free Show, was just on a roll, like just constantly coming up with new and improved features that make Free Show so robust. I promise right now, the challenge I have is making a new video. I told my wife, I was like, I don't even know what new videos to make. So I like to go live because I love to interact with you guys. And so, United Arab Emirates. I was going to say the Emirates. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I was going to say that, but I was like, I don't even know. I didn't know the A was Arab. That's why I was like, I don't know what the A is. So, okay. Gotcha. United Arab Emirates. And so Kenya to the world, is that a overarching ministry? Tell me about that part. And then let's see, because I've read an article a while back, not a while back, recently, I should say, in the last couple of weeks, about a lot of folks from Kenya going to the Middle East to find work, like in Dubai and things like that. So that's really cool. I just want to know. Tell me more about what Kenya to the world is. Let's see. Jim Lawyer says, yes, we are big into cycling. Co-host a live stream show every week on ultra cycling. We ride most every day. What? With either inside or out. Okay. You ride a rag bray every year, 7-day ride across Iowa. What? Across the whole state? Man, y'all crazy killing it. That's crazy. I think the furthest I rode was probably maybe 30 miles. Maybe 30 miles. Like, and I know that's probably a week. Like, and it took me a few hours, probably like 4 hours, maybe 3 or 4 hours. I don't know. But I can't believe the type of bike I got. It's pretty popular. I got it in storage because when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't ride it anymore. I rode a lot in Kansas City. I didn't ride any big events or anything like that. I did a small little bike tour that was a big fundraiser, which was fun. So I'm in Kenya. Okay. I'm a Kenyan living here. Okay. Learning from one. Okay. Sweet. So so technical department is a Kenyan living in Arabia or in Dubai, which is sweet. And then learning from one. Is that you talking about me? Look, are you talking about me? Wait a minute. I got some. I believe I got some Kenya in my blood. I'm claiming it at least. I don't know if it's in my blood or not, but I've been there. So I got my bracelet. But let me know what you mean learning from one. You're probably talking about somebody else, but I'm gonna claim that I'm a part of that team too. All right. So Calais Deliborio says, thank you very much. You're very welcome. Josoft Media says this video is priceless. So this is the church hack video. I think we talked about this last time. So I may have already talked about these videos or these comments. So let me know. But like I said, if you guys have not already make sure to try to find a device to give you multiple outputs. And this video walks you through a device I found on Amazon. There's an affiliate link in and all that kind of stuff to let you get that one with no additional charge. But I've seen it go down as low as like 79 bucks or something like that from time to time. And I'm not sure, I don't keep up with it too much, but it is less than $100 always, but you can get it. And the reason I liked it was because it works with Windows and Mac the same way. Okay. And it allows you to add an additional 4 outputs to your computer, which I love for what I do because I don't have a Mac Studio. I just got a laptop. So Apple laptop. I also have a Windows laptop to test on. And then I got another work laptop that's an Apple device. And so using that allows me to do a lot more or have a lot more flexibility to use FreeShow because FreeShow is very output dependent. We're going to talk a little bit about that today as well. All right. Let's see here. So this was about BitFocus, the BitFocus companion video. They said is Stream Deck or Stream Deck mobile software even necessary when you have BitFocus companion? And so no, and my answer was no, I have never used a mobile app. I just use Chrome on my tablet, but any browser on any device would work. So if you have BitFocus Companion, which is a free software download portal, I don't even know what to call it, but it's free and it's web-based. Go to it. It will allow you to download the, I don't know what to call it. This is the, let me see, I'm gonna show the window. This is what it looks like. It's just a BitFocus companion that runs on your computer. So it looks like that. And then I got it running on my network, and you'll see your IP address there. You can type that IP on any device and you'll be able to see your stuff. You can launch the GUI, which will take you to the web-based or the network-based setup there. And so I'm gonna hide this again for you guys, but it will run on your computer and it'll run throughout the network. So any device connected to the network, any other computer or tablet or phone can access it on that IP address, which is really cool. All right. So no special app or anything like that, or even a Stream Deck needed. I've never used a mobile app for it at all. Let's see here. German Calmera says, hi, Gary. Thank you so much to do this show to help us. God bless you. Oh, this was about FreeShow Friday last week. Okay. So please, can you make a tutorial dedicated to the cloud sync? So German Calmera is speaking up as well. He wants to see something about cloud sync as well. I started it or did something on it on the lab with FreeShow on Monday. And he also said why I have to register to a church to make use of it. I just want to know how it works. Thank you in advance. Yeah, so that's something we'll talk about. We'll talk more about that. That's a good point. Hi, friend. Not to some, there are videos coming out about this for sure. I'm just waiting on all the kinks to get worked out. So at that time, I believe I looked at this after in the lab, and one of the challenges that I ran to was I just did not understand how to use the program together myself because I've never ran or used a church management tool. And B1 Church is a church management tool. So I think I advised this last week. If you guys are paying for something, keep paying for it, but I would definitely look into how to use B1 Church because it will likely do everything that you're that you're paying for. It will do it for free. All right. And that's a big plus because you can put those dollars and invest those in other curriculum, or you can invest those dollars into other resources for the ministry and things like that. So that's my advice. And then see if it's something that you're willing to keep, if you want to keep, paying for the other one, or do you want to switch over? If you've never used a church management program, you'd be like me. And so I can speak to you really clear and easily to say, hey, let's walk through this together because there's a lot to it that really will streamline a lot of what you do. All right. Let's see here. Kimimia Joseph 375 says, I have been it says, yeah, I've been trying to output a video with audio and have been following your video on how to do it, but you used an audio file as an example. Oh, okay. So we need to check and make sure that the video is following. So I'm able to receive the audio signal when playing an audio file in OBS, but I'm not able to receive the audio when presenting the video. Got you. Okay. We'll look into that. That's a good question. We got Jarrell to Toterden Monk 4380. Hello. Welcome, my friend. Hello to you as well. Let me know where you're joining from, Jarrell. Let's see here. And then Kimimio Joseph says, please assist to know if I'm missing something. Excellent. For sure. We'll go through that. So we got to go through OBS and then the syncing. All right. That's my notes. All right, let's see here. This was Mr. Terry Ray. Oh, this is Mr. Terry Ray. So he's on right now. But he said, Gary, I'm sorry about all this. he was apologizing for how much trouble I was having in the lab. So it sounds like you're creating the how to sync document for FreeShow. I would have liked some kind of documentation of how to set up accounts in B1 to prepare for FreeShow. I've only set up syncing with Google, which is a really cool way as well, but that's pretty complex from my experience, the old FreeShow method. But this doesn't sync files, only settings. Syncing is the key to really make FreeShow flexible for people who don't live at the church. Absolutely. I'll try to work on this too, because this will really help me. And that's exactly what Mr. Terry did. He started working on ideas and trying out different things, sending me messages to let me know what progress he's made and so forth. And so we'll talk more about that today. And then we got Iriel Smith says, so you can't type scripture like Easy Worship. They were commenting on this navigate scripture fast in FreeShow. Has anybody used Easy Worship, excuse me, and know what they're talking about? Because they said, yikes. So in that video, I was talking about different ways you can search for scripture, but they were basically saying that you can't do it like in Easy Worship. And I've never used Easy Worship, so I really didn't know what that would look like or mean. And I just said, how does it work in Easy Worship? I'm very curious. So really, I do want to know. If anybody's used it, let me know. Let's see here. John Goodman 4368 says Cloud Sync is about to be updated in the near future release. Ah, yeah, I know it. You are the man. Are you helping out on that project? Like I said, we got you guys are coders and all kind of stuff, man. This is so cool. Yeah, I've talked with Christopher a little bit through some messages, and like I said, the beta 3 is actually got it up to date already. But you're saying it's going to be even updated even more after the 5.3, which is really sweet, really sweet. I'm excited about that. Potentially, if that's what you're saying, I'm in agreement. I love that. This is a video about the Cloud Sync. It's a great video. Could use an updated one for the new UI for it. Also, having a practical example of seeing how it should work will help, as I'm still trying to figure this out. So this is we're getting into this theme of Cloud Sync is becoming pretty important for us. So I can recognize that, and I appreciate all the ideas and feedback about that. And I just told them I'm looking into that as well. And then this question or comment came in. They said, hey, Gary, thanks for the vid. Is it possible to create a screen output to enable share on Zoom just from one laptop? And then we got ProPresenter has that feature. Maybe there's a way to do it in FreeShow. And I just said, that's a cool idea. I know how to do that using FreeShow and OBS. And I said, I don't know of a way, to just use FreeShow unless Zoom can accept an NDI window. So I guess you can also do it with the free NDI monitor download as well. So what I was talking about was in FreeShow, we have the option to create a window for an NDI output. Basically, for any of your outputs, you can just activate NDI. Okay, but there's an option. If you go to the NDI website, you can download a bundle for Mac or Windows that allows you to download an NDI suite of different uses, and one of those is like the NDI monitor, I believe it's called. And it basically allows you to show a monitor or window that receives any NDI signal that you want it to, and it'll show it as a screen, and you can share that in Zoom or whatever. But at the same time, I forgot I made a video about how to use Zoom and create lower thirds using FreeShow. So I just sent that video. That's what that is. That's actually a video that's going to point them to a video I made about how to use Zoom with FreeShow, which is really cool as well. All right. This person, Philippe Abruimata, says, thank you for your amazing work. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And then let's see here. We got a brother. This is Tony XFJ says, or Tonix FJ, I'm not sure, but he said, brother, much respect from Fiji, my friend from Fiji. All right. He says, every church and media guy needs to subscribe to this channel. Hey, 2 thumbs up to that. I would love that. I want to make sure, like I said, my mission is to equip as many ministries as possible to understand the scripture and understand media and all that good stuff. So this is a great tool to do that and make it happen. John Goodman says, I haven't contributed code to this project, but to several others. I only heard from Christopher. Nice. Awesome. That's so cool. And thank you for your contributions, John Goodman. I am not a coder by any means. This is my contribution to the community as best I can to really just kind of kind of break stuff. I guess maybe that's what I specialize in the best is breaking stuff. That's as best I can describe it. Is like I can test it. And if I can understand it though, I believe these guys give me a grace and ability to help people understand it as well. And so I love to train. I love to teach people and equip them with understanding. So I got my my Windows computer over here, and let me see here. I don't know how to. Oh, let me see what my battery level is. It is at 91%. It says 2 hours and 42 minutes remaining on it. All right. So I've switched things up in my studio. This is what it looks like now. So I moved my light over here. I moved my soundboard over here. And this light, I moved that over here. And this computer's here, but it's just a laptop, so I can move it wherever I need to. But quite a few changes. Just flip some things around, put everything on one switch so I can turn everything on and turn everything off if I need to, just by walking in, which is something I really wanted to do to streamline. So I'm excited about that. Really excited about it. So let's get into it. Question about, let me go back to the audio question, right? So getting audio from FreeShow and into OBS. Let's talk about that. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna pull OBS in. I'm gonna just show you what my first thoughts are about it at least. Let me see if I can go into studio mode real quick. So studio mode came on, I think. I don't see it. Okay, there we go. All right. So I got studio mode on, which is great, really helpful. Let me see. I might be able to do this. Okay. Yep. All right. So I got studio mode on. And then on this side, you guys can see my OBS screen. And that doesn't shrink down though in studio mode. That's interesting. So I may have to close this. Let me close this dock for now. Let's see if it'll make it bigger. Okay. So that makes it a little bit bigger. And then this one though is a little bit smaller. All right. This helps me see you guys' comments. All right. Very clean setup. Well, I'm working on making it cleaner. The reason I had to make some adjustments because I work from this setup over here behind me, just on a separate station, and I wanted to use the same key light. So this key light actually supports this and this station, which is really cool. All right. And my lips, it's cold out, you guys, so my lips are getting chapped all day nonstop. So forgive me. But OBS, there's a lot of different things that happen with OBS, right? So this is my full sharing screen for FreeShow. And what I do is I share my top screen here, and then I just have my audio coming out right here, which is just my microphone coming through the soundboard going to my camera. I know that sounds like a lot, but the reason I do it that way is because I send my camera feed to my ATEM. Okay. ATEMs unfortunately don't have the best preamps or I don't know, audio inputs. And so I send the audio in through XLR to my camera into my ATEM using HDMI. All right. So it's a real roundabout way to say basically my camera can handle an XLR input from direct. I can do it directly from my microphone, but I do it from a soundboard because for other meetings, I might like play some music or something like that from my soundboard. I used to at least, or I would record my my soundboard is actually a recorder, so I send my microphone directly to that and I'll record my messages sometimes for like Bible study or prayer meetings or something like that, and I'll just record it directly there, and it just goes to an SD card as opposed to even using my camera. So I don't even have to use my camera to use my mic, but that output of the soundboard is going into my camera. And let me see here. I'm gonna try to show this. Let's see if we do. If I go here and go to media and go to cameras, it's going to pop up. Boom, boom. All right. So instead of me just talking about it, I'll try to show you guys. Let's see. So I got it on talking head right now. Let's go to primary. All right. So you guys can see that. Let me clear out welcome to FreeShow Friday. We don't need that in there. Boom. All right. So I've got a GH5 that I use for the show, which is great. And what it does is it allows me to use this XLR adapter. That's what I like about it. So it actually is a little device that I can just plug in right to the top of it, and it takes in an XLR input. And then that's running through this HDMI cable straight down into an ATEM. All right, so it's going right into my ATEM switcher right here. And then the other camera that we talk about is right over there, and that's coming into input 2. It's just running across the floor. Okay, it's just running across the floor there. All right, so that's what I was trying to describe to you guys. All right, long story, no real reason for that, but I wanted to make sure that was clear. So now we go back here. All right, I'm gonna turn my camera off somehow. Let's stop the camera. All right, there we go. All right, so stop the camera. But we're talking about FreeShow. And so when I was doing my FreeShow primary feed here, right? That's here. But the only thing you still hear is my audio from my microphone. But when I play audio from FreeShow, one of the ways that it is able to play the video audio is because in FreeShow, you have, and I'll do full share for this. In FreeShow, you have the option in your settings. So if I right click on this output and select edit, you got the option to enable NDI. Okay. When you hit the little drop down next to it, you can turn on or turn off audio. What that does is it automatically dictates the output, anything that comes to that output. So this is my primary output. And when a video with audio is playing through that output, it will send that through NDI. Okay. And so let's see here. It'll send it through NDI. I'm going to show you guys what that would look like. Let me go to one of my shows. I'm gonna go to the FreeShow Friday countdown video. And I got this here. And it's set to where it will go to the next on media finish. But this morning it did not play for some reason. So if I select this, let's see what happens. Okay, it's playing. And I'm gonna go to OBS so you guys can see what it looks like.
What I love about FreeShow is in many ways it's ease of use. Hey, I'm Jared Ellis from Fellowship Regional Church in Iowa, Kansas. My name is Paul.
All right. So my audio, let me pull this down. So my audio for this particular one is actually coming through my top screen. And so I activate my top screen audio. That's a good question. So the other thing you can do is if you hit the plus sign, let's see if we can do audio. NDI. Where's my audio? Okay, audio input capture. Let me see if there's an option here for that. Let's see. I'm gonna call it primary. Let's call it primary NDI FreeShow. We'll say okay. And from here, it'll ask you what option you want to use. So we got this option called NDI audio. Let me see if that'll give it to me what I'm looking for. So if I say okay, I don't see it show up here. But I see what you're talking about. Is anybody else running into that issue where their audio is not playing through OBS? And I realized I got my top screen active, but I don't have a top screen option here, but it is playing when I get to this screen, as opposed to if I go to here. No, top screen is there too. If I go to stage view, it's there as well. I'm just looking to see what else would cause. Let's see if I do split share. Yeah, my top screen still shows up there. That just looks weird. I don't know why it does that. But so I've got my top screen on. So the NDI FreeShow piece is not necessary, but notice now there's nothing coming through. And so basically when audio is active, it'll come through through that device. Let me go back in here. Let's see if I play some music from FreeShow. If I go to functions, no, not functions, audio. and I'll just play my, I think it's called New Beats. Yep. Let me play this real quick. Let's see what it does. Uh-oh. Okay, so that's not coming through here. There's no option for that coming through there. I'm on my talking here. Let me go to Gary headshot. That's my only headshot. Okay, so even on here, there wouldn't be a way that it plays through. I have to think about that, my friend. I'm not sure what, like I said, for me, my audio is coming through because of the top screen that I realized. Let me see if I activate this. No. Let's see if I go to, that's Gene, full screen sharing. No. Huh. Now you got me thinking about that. Over here, if I go to outputs, let me see what my output is set to. Outputs, yada, yada, yada. Go to my settings here. Custom audio output. So you can do that. And it's got this now playing file. You could send it out to NDI Audio Virtual or to another virtual. I made a virtual output here, but you could do it this way to where to go there. So if I stop this, let's see. Stop the music, it kind of fades out. But, oh, sorry, you guys. But if I stop, I went over here to my settings for my audio. So I went to the audio tab and then I went to settings and then I switched this out. It was set to none, I think, in terms of no special custom output. But I changed it to this NDI audio, which is a virtual output. All right. And so now if I go and I play it again, I don't hear anything. I got my speakers up. I don't hear anything here. But if I go back to, let's see here. If I go to primary, this FreeShow NDI should have some audio coming through. Let me see. Properties. I select the NDI audio. And I can say, okay. I should see it show up here on this list, but it's not showing up. The only other option I can think of is to change my aux. So if I go to my settings here, let's see. I'll go to audio settings and we got desktop audio. We'll do auxiliary 2. I'm going to turn that to be NDI audio. Okay, so I went to OBS audio settings. And now, let's see here. Mic auxiliary 2 still doesn't have anything coming into it, which it should from FreeShow. Because this is playing. I can see the levels going up and down there, which is good. But it's not. So, and then over here, this isn't showing up. Let's see. If I go to music, let's see. Okay, there we go. So the music is playing. Anybody else running into this issue? Let me know. Let me know. Anybody else running into this issue where the audio is not playing? If I go here, I'm expecting it to play out on mic auxiliary 2 because I turned that to where this is and it's not doing anything. Properties, enable download. Okay, that's fine. So if I go into my settings in OBS, mic auxiliary 2 is active. Monitor off is fine. Let's see here, monitor and output. There's nothing coming out of there. But my top screen is playing. The audio is coming out of there. So if I turn this one on, if I unmute it, you all would probably be able to hear that without a problem, is my guess. So I can turn that up or turn it down, but that's coming from my top screen. And so my top screen audio is because I have, I'm sharing my full screen, right? So I'm sharing the full screen, so it's allowing that to happen. And that's from full screen here. This audio right here, this particular output or source has its own audio signal or yeah, audio channel with it, I guess you can call it. I'm not sure what causes that to do that, because I guess I thought my audio was coming through from my primary, which is interesting. So give me some feedback. Does anybody use OBS run into audio issues? That's something that we got to figure out. But yeah, I wish I could answer that for you right away. For whatever reason, that is not what I expected when it comes to this. So if I go back to my audio, I'm gonna turn this one off. And I'll just say disabled or default. I'll just disable it. But your audio, I got my mic auxiliary. This is my Blackmagic switcher where the audio is coming in. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's a really good question though. All right, so we'll cancel. Oh, I need to save that. Let me go back and turn that off just in case, because I expect it to work, but it's not doing what I expected. So I'm gonna disable it, say okay. And now I just have my microphone and coming from the ATM and that. But I'm trying to think about where else the audio comes from, because it's coming from my top screen right now. So when I do my primary output and I share my screen, that's how I usually get my audio, is what it seems like. But when I play videos on Zoom, it plays through NDI without a problem, if that makes sense. And so I'll share, like I'll right click on this and I'll make it be a projector. And so I can say, I can put this on I'll put it on here. And so my output for that particular window is basically, I'm gonna say exit full screen so you guys can see what I'm doing with it. I think, let's see. I'm just trying to shrink this down. All right, so this is just a projector screen from OBS that is showing what's on my primary, okay? And so when I play, this is how I shared my screen just the other day, and I played a video for a Bible study, and the audio came directly through this, and that's because NDI was on. NDI audio was on because it was not coming from any other source. And I asked them, I said, hey, are you guys able to hear the audio? And they were like, yeah, it's fine. So I would test that out. Let me know if what you ran into, is it because you don't see the audio levels? Like I'm not seeing the audio levels here, or because you've gotten some feedback that it's not working, is what I'm curious about. Because I think it works. It works. It should work just fine, because I played with it and it works just fine. But this is for Kimimia Joseph 375. I'm able to receive the audio signal when playing an audio file in OBS, but I'm not able to receive the audio when presenting the video with the video, maybe. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let me know in the chat if you guys are running into anything like that either. I'm gonna close that little projector window. Let's go back into FreeShow and this idea of syncing. Now, the funny thing is, I actually downgraded because I was working on another project. So right now I'm in beta 2. So let me do something to get back. I'm actually going to close this and go to download beta 3. I think I may have already. I just got to make sure of it. So let me go into, it's syncing up while it's doing that. Let me check my computer to see if I actually have the third beta downloaded. I know I downloaded it just the other day and I just switched it back out. Yep, I got it here. Beta 3. All right. So I'm going to download it. We're going to try this again, but I'm gonna give you guys some tips along the way of what I learned, at least. All right. So you all can see my screen, and I'm drag this in, and I'm just going to replace it. That's what I typically do. And that just keeps all your folders all the same and all that kind of stuff, but it just allows you to open up that new version of the app. And I'm gonna go down here. Let's open up FreeShow. All right. Backed by popular demand is beta 3. All right, so we got beta 3 going here. Now, the question is, how does all this work? If I go into settings and files, this is what we want to do. This is where the cloud sync option is. All right. And you can tell here, I'm already connected and running it. And I've got beta 3 on a Windows computer. All right. And let me see here. I'm going to kind of do what I did last time. I'm going to try to share both. Let's see what that's called. It's called Windows and Mac. For my Windows stuff, I got to turn on Windows screens. It's thinking about it. Okay. Boom. All right. So let me turn off studio mode and go to Windows and Mac. All right, you guys, hopefully you can see that okay. Let me know if you can see that okay. The last comment I see is very clean setup. Let me know if you guys are still talking to me. I've not seen anything from you all yet. Let me see. Yep, that's the latest. I'm still live, which is good. Want to make sure. All right. But so I got my Windows machine here, and I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Oh, that's fine. That's good. Because the most important parts are actually this stuff. So let me do my Mac window. I'm just working on my windows here to make them be the proper size, so you guys can see as much as we possibly can. Okay. All right. Mark says he can see it well. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Now, let me move the windows up. Uh-oh. The word Windows is overlapping there, and the word MacBook is overlapping here. And so we'll pull that down. It could be over my head. Okay. So we got these options here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start from scratch and kind of give you guys an idea of how this works. So I'm going to disconnect from church apps here. And so both of these devices are not connected to church apps, if I remember. Let's check the Windows one. If I go to Files and Cloud Sync, connect to church apps here, and then I've got my own little theme that I made with the yellow and sky blue or whatever, turquoise or whatever. So they both run the same version of the program, just look a little different, okay? Now, the most important thing to do, and somebody asked this in the comments yesterday, or in the comments here saying, why do I have to make an account or make a church, right? So what you have to do, let me pull it up here. Let's see, do I have a, all right. If you go to admin.b1church, all right, admin.b1church, this is important. Now, the reason why this is important is because you want to register, okay? And I say register in terms of when you go to admin at B1 Church, you register, gives you a name, you create a name and all that good stuff. And you do want to create a church, okay? So you can put your church in there. Even if your church doesn't use this program, you're using FreeShow, you can set up an account for your church. It does not, it doesn't do anything malicious or anything like that. So it's not anything special. It's really whoever has access has access, but if they don't, they don't. All right. And so when you create this, you create a name, an email, and all that stuff, and it'll have you create a church or whatnot. I've already done that. So I'm going to just hit this option that says sign in. And so I'm going to sign in, and I use Gary at Gary B. Jr. And this is my admin account. So this is the owner of the account. Okay. You will need that. And then it asks you to select a church. Like I said earlier, when you make that admin account, I believe it'll have you set up your church. So I got my church already set up, and I've got a name of what would you call this? A DBA, I guess, that I have, Kingdom ETC. And so I will select that. And it brings me into my admin dashboard. This was what I was missing last time. All right. I was missing this admin portion as a crucial part of this whole equation. All right. Very crucial. Okay. So let me just share this full screen here. We don't need to show both screens right now. So the admin portion is where you actually add users. Okay. If it's just you managing FreeShow, you can have just one user. All right. So I'm gonna go here, and if I go to my dashboard drop down, you'll see a bunch of different options. But the idea with this is the church management program. You're the church administrator, let's say, and you're creating like a team, like a serving team, a group of people that serve at your church in the media, maybe, right? Most of us serve in media at our church, so you can go to serving, right? And then when you go to serving, it gives you some options, and you got this option for plans, and you got an option for teams. This teams option is important because the team is going to be the church or ministry team, all right? And so you would need to add a ministry. Let's see, if I say add a ministry, let's see, this is edit ministry. Let me see what the ministry is called. Oh, the ministry is called GB Junior Tutorials. Okay, so I got that. Brian from Michigan in the house. What's going on, my friend? Verbacious Brian in the house. All right. And so my ministry is called Gary B. Junior Tutorials. Okay. And that's where like a ministry might be men's group or something like that. So it's different ways to do ministries. And that's a group. This is like a public thing, right? Groups are like women's ministry or something like that, where people also not just volunteer and serve, but they also participate. Okay. So you can add people to a ministry. I'm not trying to do that. And when I did that, when I hit that ministry, it took me to the groups page. That's what the group is. But we want to stay in serving and we want to add in a team. Okay. So I'm going to say new team, and I'm going to call this new team. We're going to call this one, let's say, FS Learning. All right. And I'll say add a new team. So I got a Free Show Friday team and I got a FS Learning team. I got an option here to manage that team. Now, this team is a team of volunteers, staff members, whoever it is, but they're a team that work for the church, right? They're serving, right? We're in the serving category. So they're the team that works for the church. So when I hit manage, it gives me the option to add team members. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because if you just made your account, you don't have any team members at all, right? So you don't have any people that fellowship at the church, because you just made the church in here, and you don't have any staff members or volunteers in here. So you would do a search, right? Or you can go up to people and just add people. So I can go to my people option here, and I got two people. I got Gary Bikes and I got GH6 Panasonic. All right. I just had to think of something that was different than Gary Bikes. So last time I had two Gary Bikes and it was hard. All right. And so this one right here, this is my email account for work. So I got that one there. So I'm going to use this email account to sign in. It's called GH6 Panasonic. That's the user. All right. So we'll know it's kind of special. That's a person that I made, and they're a part of the ministry. They serve and all this stuff, and they work in the media. And they're going to be a part of this serving group called FS Learning, that serving team. Let me use my language right. So they're going to be a part of this serving team. So I'm going to go to manage, and I'm going to type in GH6, and I'm going to do a search. And there it is. There's GH6. That's me. All right. And I'm going to add them to this team. So GA6 is a part of the Free Show Learning team. I guess I could edit that and put like a fancy little icon or something. Let me see if I edit the team. Does it let me edit this? No. Group name. No, it doesn't let you change the, I thought I could change that little icon. All right. Can't change the icon right now. Don't worry about that. But the members in this team are here. Now, the cool thing about this program, it does a whole lot of stuff with the members of this team. So you can do all kinds of stuff. Like you can send a message to the members of the team. Like that's kind of crazy and cool at the same time. You also can, what does that do? I think it lets you download the list, but I could be wrong. And then this one, let's see, we hit that. It just takes us to how to set up groups, which is cool. And then this one, if I hit it, I'll just hit it. It just downloads a CSV. Okay, so a list. All right. Let's see here. Kimimia Joseph says, I'm able to see the meters reading when playing an audio file, but nothing shows in the meters in OBS when playing a video. Yep, I see what you mean with that one, Kimimia Joseph. That's what I ran into as well. But the funny thing is, I do get audio from what's called my top screen audio levels for whatever reason. But at the same time, I also have, I'm not sure how I do that, because when I go to my Free Show primary, for example, I got primary Free Show. That's what oh, sorry, you guys, it's blank, but you can hear me, which is fine. But I'm just going to, so in my primary Free Show, if I share, let me go back to full screen real quick. So when I go to, real quick, we're shifting gears just real quick, just to answer Kamimia Joseph's question. Thank you for getting back with me, my friend. And so when I go to, here, let me go to studio mode. And I think that was the issue that I was running into. When I go to FreeShow Primary, okay, here we go. So this is what I would see. I see mic auxiliary, which is me, and then I see primary FreeShow, which is a part of the output here. Okay, so that it's a part of this one. So let's see if I go here. So this is NDI FreeShow, which is fine, but primary FreeShow has its own audio here, which is what I'm interested in seeing the most. If I turn, let me see if I can turn on my face. All right, so this is what I see when I go to my primary. When I play FreeShow, let me go to it and play it real quick. Let me play something. We'll go back to that same video.
As the preaching minister at our church, one thing I don't want to
So
spend
my primary
any
free
time
show is
thinking
showing
about
here. You guys
presentation
can probably hear
software.
that really loud. Let me pull it down. But that's what I get from my audio and free show. It's coming through this primary free show. And that's because I have this audio output. That's what I was looking for. I just didn't do it right because I had it on studio mode and I was seeing the wrong mixer, audio mixer. But this is what it should look like. You should see your output. So if I right click on this, this is my NDI. The audio is coming from there, from free show, because I have the audio on. That's what I wanted to make sure of. All right. So that's what you should be able to see. That's what I was expecting to see. I just didn't show it right. So forgive me for that. But that's what I would expect to see. If Bible version can be removed from the stage screen. Let me pause this real quick. So a question came in. Uh-oh. Could you guys even see that? Y'all couldn't even see the OBS screen. Ain't that something? All right. The hard part was showing it. So in this free show primary, here we go. Okay. So in free show primary, I'm trying to think about the best way to show this. ChatGPT. Oh, okay. All right. Can you guys see it now, Jim? Make sure I should be visible now. But what I was trying to tell you guys is when I was playing it, the only way I can make it show the audio mixer for free show primary in terms of the actual output program window is to show and actually activate the program. So it's hard to show it. But here's the deal. When I play a video from free show as a part of the output, excuse me, what ends up happening is my audio channel mixer switches to where it shows primary free show. This right here, primary NDI free show, doesn't really matter. You don't need that. I can remove that. And I'll say yes. All right. But these are the only options I have in my source. And the only thing that'll come up is my mic auxiliary, and then primary free show shows up. And that's how you guys were able to hear it earlier and you were able to see it earlier. And it does play through. So you will see the audio coming from your primary. Mine is called primary free show. That's what I called it. That is my NDI output for free show. So back to Kimimia Joseph's question, what I would recommend you do is make sure that you have the audio. And let me turn my audio in free show back to none. Don't need this. No custom audio. But in your settings, so when you right click on your output, make sure you just have audio on. That's really all you need to have. And so right here next to enable NDI, make sure that you have the audio on, and you should see that audio play, the levels moving and things like that in OBS. When you play any video or audio from that output, okay, in the program, okay. Let's see here. Let us go back to syncing up. So we're going back to syncing, all right. And we did have a question come in from, let's see, Brian Mutua Lumumba. Brian Matua Lumumba says, hi, Gary. I wanted to ask, and waving at me, what's going on? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you're from too, Brian. But it says, hi, Gary. I wanted to ask if the Bible version can be removed from the stage screen. If the Bible version can be removed from the stage screen. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I don't know. That's a good question. If the Bible version can be removed from the stage screen, remind me to come back to that. Remind me to come back to that. I want to make sure we don't lose our thought with the syncing deal. Okay, we'll have to play with that. But under files, we're in files. I've got GH6 Panasonic is the user in here, GH6 Panasonic. And if I select this user, you'll see the email. It's Gary at MYG Consulting U, which is fine. Please don't spam me. But I got, that's the my last name is Panasonic apparently on here because that was my last name here. You can edit that and make me the head of the household or spouse or child or whatever you want to. Like I said, it's a church management app. So you can add other people in the household. You can add a wife and kids and all that kind of stuff. It is a really robust, B1 Church is crazy cool, crazy robust. All right. Now, we've got the account that I want, and I've got that person into an actual team. So if I go to teams, it populates under serving, you'll see I've got two teams, Free Show Friday and Free Show Learning. I added GA6 to Free Show Learning. So now let's go into the Windows computer. Actually, I'm gonna go into both. We'll go to Free Show on both. And let's say, I'm gonna say connect to church apps. And what I'm looking for, see, it automatically pops up this. I don't want to do that. I need to make it stop. So I got to clear my cache or something like that. Let me try doing something else. So I said deny. Oh no, I might be able to do it. I might be able to do it without a problem. Let me go back. I'm gonna say connect and let's see what happens. And I say allow. When I get back to Free Show, it says no teams are found in your account. Get added to a team or create. Okay, yes. So I got to put in a different email because that email I deleted already. So I'm going to disconnect and I got to clear my cookies. So I'm gonna clear my cookies real quick. Let's see here. Look, I think I'm gonna clear. Okay, delete browsing data, and let's go back the last 7 days maybe, because I think I started working on this on Monday. All right, so I deleted that, and I'm gonna close out that tab for what B1 Church popped up to. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back into here and connect to church apps. Boom, it asked me for an email account. We're doing GA6 Panasonic. So I'm gonna do email is Gary at NYG, and then I'll put in my password. If you create or add somebody to that as an admin, that person would just go to B1 Church. They wouldn't go to admin, but they would go to B1 Church and they can update their password and all that kind of stuff. All right. So I'm gonna say sign in. Oh, it says it says please check your email password. Okay. So I'm gonna go to register. Oh, it took me to the admin. Oh, wait. So it took me to the admin portal. Let me see something here. If I'm in the admin portal, when I say connect to church, yep, admin at B1 Church. So if I do Gary and Gary B. Jr., and I say sign in, it lets me pick that. That's fine. And then it says, would like to access the following data from Kingdom ETC. Okay, so I'll say allow. That's fine. So it took me to the admin. I didn't pay attention to that. It says, but then it says no teams were found. Get added to a team. Right, and this is where I thought I would be able to do the other one with the other accounts. Let's do B1 Church. All right, so if I just go to B1 Church, okay, B1 Church, and I can say sign in. And this is just the regular B1 Church, not the admin portal. Let me register my, oh no, I don't need to register because I have an account though. Let's see. Let me just say if I can sign in real quick. As Gary M1G. Let me put in my password. All right, populates that. Kingdom ETC, that's the name of my church that I'm signed up to be a part of. And it just brings me here. So this is me, GH6 Panasonic. That's what I want. I wanted to log in as that, but it took me to the admin portal. So let me see if it'll do that again if I disconnect. from church apps and then connect. No, it brings me to the admin portal, which is interesting. If I say allow, it's going to probably pop up the same thing. I'm not, because I did not put my admin account into any of the teams. Remember, GA6 is in a team, but not the admin person, right? So I'm going to disconnect and clear cookies again. Let's clear cookies again. Let's try this out. Edit Chrome just in the last 15 minutes. All right, hit delete. All right, let's try this again because I know that GA6 has an account, but the question is, why does this take me to the admin page? That's what I don't understand. And then it says, don't have an account, you can register. Right, well, I couldn't sign in. It's not, when I go here, it doesn't let me sign in because it's saying you got to be, it's the admin version. And I don't want to join into the admin. I want to join in as a regular person. So regular team member as a part of the church is what I'm trying to do. And I thought I could. Let me see here. And I can say sign in. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, that's good. Allow. Now GA6 is a part. I used that email. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so it took me there and it gave me the two teams. Remember, we had a Free Show Friday team and we had a Free Show Learning team. I don't know why it locked up on me earlier when I might have put the wrong password in, but that's quite possible. All right. So this is where those teams are important because you can have teams that are syncing different things. All right. So you can have a team that syncs up youth ministry stuff and another team that syncs up main service ministry stuff, which is really cool. But I'm going to select Free Show Learning. Boom. Select that. And it says backup complete. That's fine. I'm going to hit this drop down and it says enable sync FS learning or Free Show Learning is what I did. And I don't have it set to read only, but you can do a read only, which is what I'm going to do on the Windows computer. So now we're going to go to the Windows computer and I'm going to come out of studio mode and go here. All right. So you guys should be able to still see everything, but we're going to go to the Windows computer. Now, let me show you what's on the Windows computer because I haven't even looked at this. My shows, let's see what kind of shows I got. I got one category or two categories, presentations and songs, and one show. Media wise, nothing. Now, the only thing this syncs, this does not sync media, but it does have that option for a media sync folder, which is new. So for what I thought the Google Cloud did sync media, but maybe I'm wrong. But the way they got it set up now is that you would just set up your own folder. So it could be a Dropbox folder or a Google Drive folder or something like that. And then you can automatically put all of your content, all your media that you currently use in FreeShow can be put into this folder that you set up here. And then you just share that folder on your Google Drive or on your Google Doc or Dropbox or OneDrive or whatever it is, and then have that on both computers. Be logged in on that on both computers. And that's how the actual media works. But the syncing is for all the other stuff. So if we go back to looking at my Windows computer down here, okay, so I'm on my Windows down at the bottom. And if you look at my functions, let's see, actions, I got nothing. Timers, I got one. Variables, I got one, okay? And then templates, there's 31 templates in there, and they are all default, which is awesome. There are 31 templates that come with FreeShow. Crazy, crazy. Templates for scriptures are there, which is great. All of them are default, and I can tell because they got this little shield icon next to them. All right. That little icon means it is a default. Now, I'm going to go into settings. I'm going to log in under the files, and I'm going to connect to church apps. Now, this one, I want it to be read only because I just want to get data from my main computer to this computer. So I'm going to log in as my GH6, which is Gary at MYG. All right. And put in my password. And hit sign in. It asks you for the church, which you would need to create under the admin portal for sure. Select that. And then it says, okay, would you like to, or it says FreeShow would like to access the following data from Kingdom ETC, which is fine. I hit allow, and let's see what happens. All right, so yes, so FreeShow used the admin portal. You're right, Mr. Terry. Absolutely. That's what I realize now as we say that. So I'm gonna say never. I'm not gonna save it for now. All right. Now I can go back into FreeShow and look at what you got. Cloud Sync, select a team where you want to sync the data. All right. Where you want to sync the data. So this is syncing to each team. So each team gets the data. So I'm gonna do FreeShow Learning, but I'm gonna change it to where I want it. It pops up, it says there's existing data on the cloud. Now my earlier one, it didn't say that. This one does, and it's saying, do you want to merge? You want to keep the latest changes from both, which means this one has nothing and the other one does. That doesn't really do much, which is good, I guess. But typically what you'll do is probably merge. For me, I want to do read only because I want to have my primary computer be the driver that I set everything up, and I want this one to just show all that stuff. I'm not going to do a lot of editing on this computer. So I'm going to say, it says merge cloud data with the local data, but never upload local changes. I don't want to upload anything from my Windows computer, basically. All right. Upload. So replace cloud data with local data initially merged, right? Or download. Replace local data with cloud data initially, and then merge normally afterwards. So replace local data with cloud data. These are all cool options that you can use. I'm just gonna say read only. Okay. And now it says backup complete. Is doing this little window circle thing there, syncing up. And I'm gonna let it do that. And in the meantime, my expectation is, let me go back to my shows. All right. So in my shows on this computer, I got 541 shows. All right. I've got a bunch of different categories. Functions, I got a bunch of different action tags. I've got a bunch of variables. I got a bunch of variable tags. You can see here. Timers, I got plenty of them. All right. I got plenty of timers. Templates, 113 templates. All right. And so all of them in different places, multiple songs. I got some lower third tags or whatever you want to call those as well. But then it gives you the option here. I'm looking back in my Windows computer. You can actually change your team. Okay. So I could change my team, but let's see what happens in the shows. I don't know what it's doing yet. All right. So shows still the same. I just got one. Media still the same. Nothing there. Functions still the same. Nothing there. All right. So now I'm going back to my settings. I want to make sure I might have to go to sync, but this is still doing this little sync thing down here. It says syncing to the cloud, but I got it set to read only. Oh, there we go. So public training, that's on my main computer. So I can select that. I think the syncing is done. If I go to show, there we go. We got a bunch of shows. We got a bunch of categories. So the syncing is done. If I go to templates, we got still only got 32 templates, but it did bring in the categories. It did not bring in the different templates though. So there should be some other templates in there. And then functions, let's see here. It brought in my action tags. Okay. It brought in all my timers are there. Really cool. And then my variables, you guys can see this, right? So my variables, all those are showing up there as well. Down at the bottom here, all my variable tags, which is cool. Shows, they're there. And that synced up really well, it looks like, because 538, if I go to, you guys can't see this computer, but on my shows on this computer is actually 541 with 54 unlabeled. So 54 there. All right. So it's missing 3, I guess, in total, which that's fine. This color scheme is hilarious. I don't know where it got this color scheme from on this computer, but it changed something. Something has changed in there, but it's not the same theme. Now, here's something else I'm curious about. If I go to my settings on this computer, I want you guys to see something. Under general, something I always do is I always turn on high contrast colors, which is this right here. I know it's covered up a little bit. Let me see if that's on this one. If I go to settings and I go to general, high contrast colors is not on. So it didn't sync that particular setting, even though that was on the other computer. So I had to turn that one on. Connection, outputs. Let's see outputs. It didn't sync my outputs either. So that's not there. Let's see here. Came in late. Is there a reason for Mac and Windows? Yes. The reason I'm doing Mac and Windows is because I wanted to show you guys two different computers syncing up together. That's pretty much all it is. I will say that Windows is really cool in terms of using FreeShow. You guys have some stuff that we don't have on the Mac. I found that out the hard way, but that's okay. We're working on that. We're working on that. And so Mr. Terry Ray says FreeShow uses the admin portal to connect to. Yep. That's the latest comments, I think. Sorry if I don't quit. Sometimes I get tech questions answered on ChatGPT. Okay. Brian says he answers his questions on ChatGPT. I think you told me that before a while back, I think, which is really cool. All right. We can't see OBS screen. Okay. That's all good. I think we're good to go. All right. So now let's recap what we did. All right. Let me recap what we did. This is on my Mac, going back to the main screen. We went to admin at B1 Church. All right. So if you go to admin.b1 church, or b1.church, I think it is. All right. You got to create an account here. All right. Admin at B1 Church, create an account. Tony Mobley in the house. What's going on, Mr. Tony Mobley? And Mr. Terry says he uses Windows for FreeShow. Okay. Do you use Mac for anything else? And then Brian Matua Lamumba is from Kenya, my friend. Welcome all the way from Kenya. And welcome Tony Mobley, my friend from Georgia, Southern Georgia. I say Southern Georgia, Southern Atlanta. That's what I'll say. I'll say Southern Atlanta. It's probably more accurate. All right. But you start out here at admin.b1church login. Now, the cool thing is, let me see if I go back here. No, Christopher told me he made some tips. If you go into the docs now, okay, and you do a search, let's see if I can, I'll just do Cloud Sync. I don't even know where it is. I'm gonna say Cloud. All right. If you go to Cloud Sync in the documents on the FreeShow website now, it has been updated. So he uses the Mac for his ATM. Okay, I love it. I love it. So Cloud Sync setup, B1 Church. First, you need a church apps account. Head over to B1 Church to register or sign in. All right, that's that one. And then it says now click on the drop down on the left to go to serving tab. You guys saw me do that. And then Tony Mobley says, I use Mac only. Is that a disadvantage? No, it's not a disadvantage right now. It's just that, let me see what's the best word I can use for that. I don't know if any advantages or disadvantages right away off the top. Because I'm just now starting to use a Windows computer for testing. I don't use it for anything else. So I'm not going to act like I know a lot, because to me, that if there's a disadvantage using FreeShow, the advantages of using a Mac regularly far outweigh that. But there are some features that work a little bit smoother in FreeShow. I'm learning that I didn't know when I was using my Mac. I didn't know these features were different, just slightly, but that will be changing soon, hopefully, to where those things will be updated. And I do my best to try to keep the team updated as well, because I know that all the developers out there, they don't all have Macs. And so me being a contributor to the community and just making issue tickets, right? You guys can do the same thing. Make tickets whenever you see an issue, and it should be updated as soon as they can get it updated, okay? But no, not a big disadvantage at all, Tony, just for the record. All right. So this Cloud Sync page document, I should say, Cloud Sync under docs is really helpful. It walks you through everything that we did. Tip, it says it's possible to create multiple teams that has different data. A team can have many members, and a user can be a member of multiple teams. This makes it easy to change the access a user has to different cloud data. And so you guys saw when I hit that little, when I did sign in with my GH6 account, the household in the church or whatever it was, I called it GH6 just so it can stand out, so we can know exactly what we're looking at. That account, when I went to it, it said, which team do you want to sync with? And I was able to sync with the one I wanted, because GH6 is actually a part of both teams. I'm not a part of any groups. Look, plans, let me see. I'm a part of, nope, I don't have any plans. I didn't do anything in B1 Church for this individual account that's related to B1 Church specifically. Like, this is where your ministry teams, your pastors and assistant pastors or whoever it is will set up all kinds of groups and plans and lessons. I mean, it's a really robust program. I'm not even scratching the surface of B1 Church. I'm literally just dipping the little toe into it, a little pinky finger into what it can do as it relates to syncing up with FreeShow. So if I go to member portal, yeah, this is here. Excuse me. You can edit church profile or edit your account. Let me see if I go to edit account. So it brings me here to edit some things. I can delete my account. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with your account. Okay. Devices, I don't know what that is. If I go back here, notice that the user doesn't have as big a dashboard as the main admin person. Okay. So this is the profile. It's not the, so if I go into serving, you'll see here, there's no tasks assigned to me or anything like that. Automations, no automations. I'm not even sure. Let's see. It says add automation, title, and then repeat. Don't even know what the automation is, but I'm sure that that's something I'll learn in the future. I want to show you guys that you can do it. It does sync up. This is beta 3, 156 beta 3. And then Mr. Terry says, do you think we will ever be able to sync data? I think the only reason data is not synced is because that is a questionable amount of storage. That's a big variable. But they can sync the metadata pretty easily because that's a small amount of storage. And so they give you the option. So yes, you can sync the data, Mr. Terry Ray, but you do it through going through something like here. So you would go into your cloud file setup and just say media sync folder. And what it will do is it will copy all your used media files continuously into one shared folder. And then you can see the little pop-up and it says any custom sync provider can be pointed to that folder. And basically you just go to your computer and install whatever provider you want, whether it's Google Drive or OneDrive, Dropbox. And that way, no matter how big of files you have in terms of videos, pictures, music, whatever it is, all that data will be inside of there. I think music will be, because it says media. So I know media in FreeShow terms, the media folder is just music or videos and pictures, but I can't imagine it wouldn't sync the audio files as well from the audio folder. So that's just my thought, right? And then you'll make this folder by just checking this little box. And then what will happen is on Google Drive, when I download that to my computer, I can just make it point to this folder, this media sync folder on this computer. I can download Google Drive on the other computer, do the same thing, sync it with that. Okay. And it'll automatically bring that data in from a separate, it's not going to come from B1 Church, but what B1 Church is going to do is point to the data, or it's going to use the metadata to point to those items in that folder for you. Okay. So yes, it will sync it right now with the beta 3. Tony Mobley says, our church is virtual only right now, but we will move a building sometimes this year. Are there things we need to do or need for hybrid worship with FreeShow? Like I said, for hybrid worship in terms of in-house, in terms of like a physical building and virtual, I was just setting up a church with this Tuesday evening back home in Kansas City. I was working with them virtually, and they were setting theirs up because they just shifted and kind of extended their media booth, and so they needed to kind of synchronize it, trying to get their equipment all squared away. And what you need, in my opinion, is most likely you'll need 2 volunteers for simplicity's sake. And I'll go to talking head because you guys don't need to see that. But I recommend 2 volunteers at least, one on a church computer that's running FreeShow. Okay, this is the bare basic minimum. One on the church computer that's running FreeShow. Okay, and they just literally manage everything that goes on FreeShow, which does impact in-house in the physical building, and it impacts people online because they're sending a signal. Their signal that they create in terms of the show they create is going to go to both places. All right, just going to be in 2 different formats. So the person that's running FreeShow, they turn on NDI. There's a second person that's on another computer. This other computer will be running Zoom or OBS or whatever it is you want to use. I would recommend OBS for sure. And then you can stream to wherever you want to from there, and or run Zoom as well, right? This ministry, they use Zoom. So we had OBS and Zoom open on the same account, on the same computer, I mean. OBS was receiving the NDI signal from FreeShow, Okay, and they had it wirelessly, but they're going to do a wired network. That's a part of their build out for their booth. They're finishing up. So they're going to have this second computer. It's a laptop, little MacBook Air is the one they run on. And then the main computer is going to be a Mac Mini that's running FreeShow. But the MacBook Air is running OBS and it's running Zoom. And in that computer, they're getting a signal from the FreeShow computer that has the lower thirds feed. Okay, the lower thirds and the primary feed. They're getting both of those through NDI, and we made two scenes in OBS. One that just says camera only, and they've got their camera plugged into that MacBook Air, and then they got another one that says, well, they got three feeds. They got one that says camera only, and then they got one that says primary FreeShow, which is just showing whatever scriptures are showing up or songs that are showing up with no camera feed behind it. And then they got one that says live. Is what they called it. I think they called it like live scene or something like that. And that one has the camera with the lower thirds from FreeShow. And so that would be my recommendation. So your camera, you would need to have some type of capture card. I use an ATEM Mini as my capture card, but I also bought this, something like this, from Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it's less than $10 or 20. It was less than $20. I know maybe somewhere between 10 and $20. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs, but it allows me to use a USB from this device and plug it into my computer, whether it's a regular USB or it'll give you the option to untoggle it and be a USB-C, which is cool. Okay. Now, once I got that, I plug that into my computer, and then the other end of it receives an HDMI signal from my camera. It also has a separate output, an HDMI output, which is pretty handy from time to time. But my HDMI signal comes through this and it goes into my computer through USB. And that's what they're using. They're using some type of capture card. They're not using this exact one. Theirs looks something like this one. A lot simpler, right? Just a simple device, about the same price. I think these are like $19. You can get them as cheap as you want to. Just has an HDMI on one side and then USB-C on the other side. All right. These are both doing the same thing. They're both capture cards. One's just a lot bigger. So yeah, it's totally up to you. This one maybe have a bigger heat sink to it, I guess you could say. I've not run into any issues with either one of them. I've used them both pretty extensively. And this is the one I've been using on my FreeShow Friday live show, and the one I've been using really to record all my videos pretty much for the past maybe 8 or 9 months. And then I was using this one before that, but I needed to do this. I needed to use it on another camera, and so I ended up getting a separate one and using now both of them. Okay, but you can get that pretty cheap. Plug that into your computer that is going to be live streaming, okay, separate from your FreeShow computer. All right. And the reason I say two people, because FreeShow deserves some attention during the service. When you're doing scriptures and songs and all that stuff, you want to have somebody that's dedicated to make sure they get to the right slide at the right time. You don't want them having to worry about is somebody trying to chat with them on the live stream, on Zoom or whatever it may be. Somebody else can be dedicated to that, and that's what that's why I recommend that, Tony. That's a great question. Let's see here. Mr. Terry says, I don't see a media sync folder. I'm using beta 3. Did you hit that drop down, Mr. Terry Ray? Hit that little drop down. After you set it up, it'll give you that option. So you have to be connected. So I'm connected in the files under cloud. Now, this connection piece, I did not connect here. I did not go to content provider and connect. I know we tried that on the lab. I know you mentioned that. You don't need to do it from here. I don't know. I don't even know what that does, actually. I think that's more like using Planning Center to it'll bring in your agenda if you had one, and it'll bring in that, like your headers and all that stuff for an actual show, for a service. This files is totally different. This is really syncing up your files between computers. The connection is syncing up with church apps to one computer for that service, and I guess any computer you want to for that particular service, and it brings in the data for that one service, or that one day. All right. The files syncs up everything, your actions, your variables. I think it brought in my templates. Maybe not. It may not have brought in my templates. It brought in my template categories, but it did not bring in all of my templates. Overlays, same way. It brought in my overlay categories, but it did not bring in my overlays themselves. But it did bring in my effects. It did bring in my effects. That's interesting. So it brought in my effects. This is the beta though. This is what goes on with a beta. So it didn't bring in all that. It did bring in all my projects and all of my, it brought in my settings even for my profiles, because you guys saw it pop up and say, hey, I got an admin account and I got a training public account that I use in FreeShow. And it brought that over to where I can switch between that on my Windows computer, which it did not have. All right. Oh, Terry says, never mind. I had to click the drop down next to the enable. Yep. And then Tony says, which model ATEM for the church? It depends on what you need to do, Tony. For me, I use the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. But if you don't have an ATEM at all, I wouldn't even get one. As bad as that sounds, if I was starting over today, if I was starting today, I wouldn't get an ATEM at all. I would probably get the Rode something or another. Let me see what it's called. And this is shifting gears, but along the same thing. Let's see. I'm gonna say Rode video switcher. I don't even know what it's called. Uh-oh. I seen a video about it. Okay. Here we go. Rodecaster Video S. That's what I would get. All right. So I would get something like this. It's about the same price as an ATEM, but the Rodecaster Video S all-in-one audio video console. The reason I would say get this is because on the backside of it, it actually takes XLR inputs, which is much different than the ATEM, which doesn't have anything like that. And it also will take a quarter inch, or I don't know what you call that. I call it a quarter, but the big inputs like this. I don't know what you look. Let me bring my face in and see if it'll get that focus. Yeah. So the big inputs like this, the quarter inch, and you put your little headphone port on that. It'll take those, but it also supports 3 HDMI inputs, which are 3 cameras. It also supports NDI built in, which is unbelievable. That's one of my favorite features on it. So you can literally send your NDI signal to this device, and you don't have to worry about green screen or nothing like that, which is fine. Or keying, you don't have to worry about keying, which can be a headache on an ATEM. And that to me is a game changer. So that would be what I would use. So if you have this, if you have the Rode, I wouldn't even recommend needing the second person, because this will just send a signal out and it'll make a separate this alleviates a whole person. Like, unfortunately, this is not, it's better than AI. Like, AI is one thing, that's fine. I'm not here to talk about AI, but this device, if I was starting right now, this would be what I would get. They have a bigger one that has, let me see, they got the regular Rode caster. I don't know if they're going to show it. They don't even show it as a recommended thing, but it's like twice as much, or maybe like $900 or something like that. This one just came out maybe a month or two ago, right? It's much better. And if I do a search for ATEM, let me see, I'll show you the difference. Oh, the other cool thing about this, real quick, this device does support it has a different menu option for you, so it's just different altogether. And if you plan to record, it'll let you record, to a SD card or something like that. And I do believe it does do ISO recording, so it does record each input. You can set it to record each input. So these are for the computer, and this is the one. This HDMI, this USB-C is for recording, I believe. And then you can plug in a microphone as well if you wanted to. You have headphone ports here as well, and you can also power it through USB-C. Does the Rodecaster have a built-in encoder? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me see. Specs, all-in-one. Let's see here. Video offers the same power for video switching and recording, as well as studio-grade audio controllers for podcasters. The console offers intuitive control over both video and audio sources. Let's go to the specs. That's funny because I don't use my encoder on my ATEM, but that is a big deal. Let's see here. Mix effects, processing. So switching type button, that's fine. They both do 1080p, which is fine. That's all I'm using right now, which is I'm using my ATEM for that. Input, embedded audio, output. Let's see here. Embedded audio, multi-view, monitor output, connectivity, digital audio. Okay, here we go. Encoding, decoding, Simultaneous streams. It says one stream, so it should be able to support one stream. Compatible services. Yes, so it does encode. It'll send out to these different protocols or compatible services, I should say. Yes. And it internal recording. So I take that back. This one has internal storage to it, but I do think you can do recording. You can record to external drives, but it does have some internal storage for you to save some other items to it. Okay, but you can record to a USB. Okay. Let's see here. It's got a little screen on it. That's great. Works on Mac or Windows, which is great. So yes, to answer your question, it does have built-in encoders. Which model ATEM for the church? Like I said, the model ATEM I would recommend is the Rodecaster Video S. All right, let's go into ATEMs real quick. Let me just say ATEM. All right, so this came out with some new ones, right? This is not the new. This might be one of the newer ones, but this is the ATEM Mini Pro HDMI, right? So this is like the old school original. Okay. It didn't have the word Pro, but it was just called ATEM Mini, I believe. And then they got the ATEM Mini Pro. This one does allow 4 cameras to connect instead of 3. Okay. But if you notice on the back, it has headphone size inputs for audio, which are not very strong or good. And then it has a USB out that you would need to connect, and it does have an Ethernet port. I think the Rode did too. Let me double check that. The Rode has wireless support. I know that. It connects to Wi-Fi. I know that. That's pretty cool. Rodecaster Video S. Did you guys notice a Ethernet cord on the back of that? I don't remember. Yes, there is an Ethernet port. So that's the same. They both have an Ethernet port. This one just has a bunch more USB-Cs. That's another part of it. It has a lot of USB-C ports, which the other one does not. The ATEM does not. It just has one. All right. So if I go back, and this is just an older device. This is probably 10 years old, this device, right? And then it has power. The power is not USB-C. It's just a regular port, and it does not have a power button on it. The Rodecaster Video, I guess what it's called. It does have a power button. This doesn't. It just either is plugged in and on or off. So you can put it in, plug it into a power strip and turn the power strip on and off or something like that. All right. But yeah, so for $325, I would say this is not worth it. I would go ahead and get into the extra $175 to get something that's probably, for convenience, I'm going to say it's 10 times more convenient. Okay. It's probably, I would say at least twice or 3 times as good overall in terms of, like I said, it's missing one HDMI port. So it does not have 4 cameras. It only has 3 cameras that it can input, but it takes in a USB camera. So it can take a USB camera. This cannot. So it actually does still support up to 4 more cameras, but it also has NDI. It also has Wi-Fi. It also has multiple HDMIs. It has full XLR ports. So for $175, you're getting more than, like I said, I would say it's 10 times better, literally. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I don't get no money from selling these, unfortunately. I should make a video about it and get what's it called? Not a referral, but whatever it is, where I can get a percentage or something like that. I don't even know where they sell them at. I guess B&H, if they sell them on Amazon, an affiliate link. That's the thing. I'll see if I might make a video to talk about that, because it does play a big part in what we do when it comes to using FreeShow, right? And so just a different device, but it's newer. That's the main thing. This just came out this year, or came out 2025. The ATEM Mini Pro came out, I'm pretty sure, if not 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. I could be wrong. They got a bunch of different bundles. They get pretty expensive. The other thing is that that device works with the Rode microphone. So if you got a wireless Rode microphone, you don't have to buy an additional one. If you got one, this will work with it, which is crazy cool as well. It connects to it wirelessly. That I love. Okay. It's probably gonna be my next investment. I may get another camera next. I don't know. For some of the work I'm getting into, I may need another camera before I need this, but I think this is going to be just as useful. I just want my cameras to sync up better, right? Because right now I got like 3 different cameras. I want to have the same cameras for some of the work I do, especially for podcasting. And right now the colors are fine, but they could be better. And even syncing up my cameras to where they look the same and have the same settings is really simple and easy to use for simple and quick setups. for that same color field. So that's my suggestion, Tony Mobley, when it comes to picking a switcher, a video switcher for your setup. All right. What are some other questions you guys have? We've been talking a lot, so forgive me if we deviated from where you guys expected us to go, but I wanted to talk about that because I do think it's helpful for us to understand if you guys are adding technology as media team leaders. I want you to be abreast. I want you to be comfortable and familiar with these new options that are available, and that is one of the ones that I would say is really cool for a small to mid-sized church. Okay, the Rodecaster Video S or whatever it is, and if you have an ATEM, you can connect the ATEM to it and just connect it into it. Like the switches are crazy because you can kind of jerry rig them together. You can daisy chain is what the word is, not jerry rig, but you can daisy chain them together where you can put 3 cameras into one or 4 cameras into one, and then the output from that HDMI from that device can go into the input on another device. And you can do that. So even if I've got my ATEM Mini Pro, I can still use it for a podcast, but I would probably send that into a Rodecaster video, right? Not very portable in terms of carrying 2 switchers, but it's really useful for that for sure. Let's see here. Brian Matua says, hi, just reminding you about, yes, please remind me. Oh man, I lost it. Let me see. You asked about something though, Brian. Let me see. Brian from Kenya. Okay. Bible versions. Yes, I got you, Brian. Can Bible versions be removed from the stage screen? So Brian's question had to do with if you have a show that is scriptures. So I'm gonna go to my latest scripture show. All right. So I got a show here, John 1, and a bunch of other stuff. All right. So I'll clear out that background. And the question is, if I got a stage display active, is there a way to make that not be there? All right. So let's do outputs. I got to turn on my stage display and activate the stage. All right. So I got my stage active there. It's an interesting looking stage. I'm trying to see if I can find one that makes more sense. Let's see here. Brian Matua, let me know what kind of stage you use or how it looks. I'm gonna go to this one. This is one of my favorite stages because it does give you some control to where you can actually go to the next slide and previous slide. There's a video about that. Check it out in my stage playlist, I believe I got. So if we go to show, the question he had was how can he get rid of these references up here, right? And so, sorry, I got somebody calling. All right. How do we get rid of these references? So there's a way to do it. Let's see. I'm just checking here to make sure I didn't miss anything. With the ATEM ability to stream. So both, Tony, real quick, the ATEM and the Rodecaster will have the ability to stream as long as you connect them to the internet. Okay, you can connect them with so the ATEM, you have to connect it with the Ethernet port. The Rode, you can connect it via Wi-Fi. So it doesn't have to be connected hardwire, okay? Oh, sorry, you guys. Thank you for telling me. All right. Let's see here. The ATEM has an encoder, so you can live stream from it. Yeah, the Rodecaster does have it has an encoder as well, so you can live stream from it as well. They both do that. One does it only with a hardwired connection, which is reliable. I would recommend that. And the Rodecaster does it both, Wi-Fi and wired. Okay. All right. So you guys, hopefully you can see you can see my screen now. I'm seeing my screen. You can see my screen. Perfect. All right. Now, this is the deal. We wanted to figure out how to get my stage, which I picked this my favorite stage. It has the next slide and the previous slide. Those are buttons that actually work. If you have it on a tablet or something, you can click that and it'll actually navigate for you. All right, which is really cool. And down at the bottom, this is the metronome. There was another video about that. Do a search for it. If you use metronomes, you can have that show up on your stage display. And it just kind of goes back and forth. Kind of cool. All right. I don't use metronomes. I just made a video for it and kept it in here. So the question is how to get rid of this text here, I believe, is what Brian was asking about. Let me go back to, not Brian, but no, I do think it was Brian. Brian Matua. If the Bible version can be removed from the stage screen. Okay, the Bible version. All right. Not the reference, but the actual version. Okay. That's a good question. Let's see here. If I go in here to edit, that's showing up there. These are connected. They're connected right now. So let's go back. Let's look at our templates. This is the way you would have to do this, Brian. I'm gonna go to my scripture templates. And right now I'm using this template here, okay? If I right click on this and I go to, I'm gonna duplicate it and I'll show you exactly what I would do. So I'm gonna say scripture to, we'll call it scripture, I'm gonna say stage edited. All right, scripture stage edited. Where'd it go? It's probably near the bottom. All right, scripture stage edited. That's the one I want to edit. So I'm gonna right click on that. I'm gonna go to edit. Basically, what I would say you need to do is you got the scripture reference here and you got your scripture name. You're gonna have to break those up to be in separate text boxes. Okay, but we're gonna make it into a template. So it's gonna be one and done. Once you do this, you don't have to do it again. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up here, make it smaller, and then I'm going to bring this. I'm going to right click on it and duplicate it, and I'm gonna drag it down below. Boom. And then on this one, I'm gonna delete the scripture reference. I already got that. And on this one, the one above, I'm gonna delete the scripture name. All right. And we'll delete that extra line. And now you have it this way. And this can come up a little bit as well. All right. So I've got all those things there. Let's go and check and make sure this works right. So this is my scripture stage edited. So before I do anything extra, I'm just going to select this. And what we're looking at is what happens to our actual items. So if I select it, boom. It says scripture reference and it brings in Daniel there. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so here's what happened. It says scripture reference and it says John 1:1 and then it says New Living Translation. All right. So let's see what we can do here. Let me go back and edit that. So we got scripture reference. We got scripture name. They're two separate things. Scripture name. I don't know what the difference is. What's scripture name? Maybe I got them backwards. But I thought reference. I don't know what the difference between scripture name and scripture reference is. Let me click it again and see if it changes. No, nothing changes there. Anybody know the difference between the reference and the name? Scripture. Let me go to options here to see. Options, verse numbers, verses on one slide, split long verses. If I go here, I'm gonna go to my scripture stage. I think they're at the top. Scripture stage. Stage edit. So this is showing it the way I want to. So if I drag this up, let's see. Yeah, so that one shows up exactly how I want. My old scriptures that I had are not doing it right, are not doing it the same. So let me do this. I'm going to select these and I'm going to say convert these to a show. Right click, convert to a show. That's what I would expect. So I expect them to show up like that. Genesis, and it just shows the Holy Bible. And then this shows Genesis and Holy Bible. All right. What we want to do is we want to get rid of this Holy Bible, New Living Translation, showing in the stage, right? And so this is just a note to self. If you do have older Bible references, you have to make them new with you if you change your template, apparently. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments, make sure we're good on that. So now I've got my updated template called Scripture Stage Edit. I'm going to go back to that template. I just want to test it out first to make sure it's going to look the way we want. It looks exactly like how it did before in terms of what the original looked like, but we're going to make that part. If we edit, this particular scripture name is the bottom part that we don't need. I can right click on that and I can say specific outputs, and we'll just say to the primary. Okay, not to the stage. And so now if we go to the show and I select it, it's already selected, and notice what's happening. What's happening on my stage? It just says Genesis 1:3, and it just shows the actual scripture, but it doesn't say New Living Translation. All right. And so I can go to any of these verses And that's exactly what the stage is going to show. It's going to just show the reference and the scripture, reference and the scripture, reference and the scripture on both the current slide and the next slide. Because I've got it to where that part of the scripture, this part of the scripture is only going to the primary, Holy Bible New Living Translation. So if you're still on, my friend, let me see here. Mr. Brian Matua from Kenya, Matua Lamumba. If you're still on, that is how I would recommend you get your scripture reference to not show on the slide, or the actual type of Bible is what I'm taking it as. And if there's something else you want, you can do the same process. Just go to edit the template. That's what I would say. Edit your templates. Your templates are your best friend. Everything in FreeShow is your best friend, unfortunately. But if you want to make changes to items in terms of what people see, the template is the first place that I would start in terms of editing a template, and then you can just use it, right? And so for this, you're going to use this over and over again on multiple different scriptures on different days. That's where a template is really helpful. Okay, so I would do this as a template. And now I got my template there. And then when I go to my scriptures, I had to make sure to select my stage edited scripture or scripture stage edited when I make my shows, when I convert to show, or just when I just show it. So if I double click this, it shows up to where that's there on the main stage on the main presentation for the audience, but on my stage, it doesn't have that. Okay. So that's how you would do it. You would just break it up into two separate boxes, text boxes, to where it looks still almost identical to the original. This still looks almost identical to the original. I just put them in two separate text boxes, and then make one of those text boxes go to a specific output. And that specific output was the primary for me. Okay. You can pick multiple outputs. So you can say primary and the live stream. If you have a live stream output, you can send it to both of those and just not the stage. Okay. So any other questions? You guys had some good questions about the syncing. Hopefully we got that answered. And then the other answers. We got some comments here. So Brian, thank you very much. I wanted to remove it so that I can have more space. Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, my friend. And then technical department. So Go Stream Duet 8 video switcher is something to look out for. The Go Stream Duet 8. Let me see. Go Stream Duet 8. Duet 8. Okay, so OC makes some cool stuff. I got an OC monitor that I broke, but it's really cool. And so this one is an 8-channel live streamer, which is sweet. Built-in T-bar. T-bars are old school, but they can be helpful and handy. Stream Deck and companion support. That's pretty cool. I must admit, Stream Deck and companion support. I'm not sure how they support it, but that is really cool. And then it says 2 XLR mics. And then it does support HDMI, SDI, NDI. Very cool. 4 physical and 4 stream inputs. So I'm not sure what the stream inputs means. Let's see. Okay, let's go. I just want to see the back. Okay, so microphones can plug into it. Now it doesn't have that 1/4 inch like a instrument input with that big big piece like this right in the middle of the it would be right in the middle here of the XLR. But I don't always do that. I never actually do that. I never use that port for anything like that. I do have that XLR on one of my speakers, and I use it for that sometimes. But you got an option for, it says wireless mic, USB cam, SD card can connect in there to record. USB cam can go into that one. The router, let's see here, HDMI. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 HDMI inputs, and then 4 HDMI or SDI inputs as well. And then we got some outputs, is what I'm guessing these little in this separate box represent outputs. I'm not sure what this little port is. Somebody can help me out. I don't know what that is. But this right here, NDI source, that means it's an NDI source, but I wonder, I'm guessing it can receive an NDI. That would be nice. That's what I'm curious about. I don't know if it says anything about that. It says NDI on there, which is good. So it says it can receive an NDI camera, which seems to make sense. Yeah. IP. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. The only thing about it to me that it's just so much more than the the Video S. Now, Rode does have a bigger one that has 4 to 6 channels. I don't know what it was. There's like about that same price, like $800 or $900. If I had to pick between the two, oh, it really depends. If you got a lot of cameras, then I would pick this one. But if you don't, I would still pick the Rode just because it's less expensive. And I do trust Rode more. Not to say that OC's a bad brand, but they're just kind of up and coming. Rode has been around for a long time. They've known for having great support for like maintaining and keeping their products up to date. OC has not established that yet to me. And so, but I do like that. So it says 4-window multi-source. This is the kind of stuff you can do with the Rode, which is important. And so you can set up different outputs, different setups and things like that, which are really hard to do with an ATEM switcher, unless you get the ATEM Extreme, which is twice as long as most of these, twice as long as the regular, and it's just bulky and big, and it's just antiquated. Okay. Background, window, and then window 2. So you can set up stuff almost to make it look like you're using like StreamYard or something like that. That's how it is on the Rode S as well, where you can customize these looks and stuff like that. This is all cool stuff. Set up different windows. This is the same stuff you can do with the Rode as well, which is nice. 8 layers. I don't know how many layers are on the Rode. That's something that I don't deal with too much, but that's cool. Composition engine to where it can manage 8 different layers, which is important. Let's see here. 3 outputs. I think the Rode S only has 1 physical output, I think, and then a couple of HDMI outputs. So it has a bunch of outputs when you combine it. So I think it is 3 total, but this one, I think there's 2 HDMI and 1 SDI, if I remember right, and then USB 3.0. Really cool. To your software, output high quality to your software, multi-platform streaming. So this is so you can broadcast to 3 platforms simultaneously. This is really going to be a preference as to what is it that you like to do. So if you're a gamer, that makes a lot of sense. For a church or a ministry, totally up to you. I know that most churches I work with, they don't stream to more than 1 platform at a time. They'll usually rebroadcast to different ones maybe, but typically they're just streaming to YouTube or Facebook. But you can stream to both with this one, it looks like, to where you can, I don't know what these links, why they're connected like that, but I'm guessing you can do this one and Facebook at the same time, which would be cool. In terms of the most popular ones I've seen, you can stream to any of those other ones as well. Versatile controls, controlled by PC software, a Stream Deck, and built-in menu. Now that Stream Deck piece is unique because that one I don't think the Rode supports, but I could be wrong. If you have a Stream Deck, that's where it can be useful. Auto switching, the Rode does that really well as well. Switch camera angles without manual control, so you can set it to where it'll automatically switch based on audio, probably. That's how the Rode does. Or by timer. You can do a time and just say, this is my main one. I want to switch more to this one than the others and spend, 3 seconds here. This SD card is really sweet. I love that you can record to an SD card there. I don't know, does it say anything about ISO recording? I don't remember if it did or not. Duet, yeah, 8 ISO. That usually means that it can record to 8 different, or record all the different inputs at the same time. Typically, that's what it means. So if I'm in the specs, let's see here. Is it 8 brimming with essential? Doesn't say much there about it, but yes, very cool. Very cool. I like that. Any other questions? Let's see here. Somebody said power. Oh, how does it power maybe? Let's see. Oh, that's that port. Gotcha. Thank you for that, Jim. So that little port right there is for power. Okay, so it's not USB-C for power. It's that. And it didn't show it on that little diagram originally, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't accept USB for power. Where's that diagram I was at? No. Here it is. Okay. And so these are for cameras and SD, like a hard SSD drive is my guess. And then this is the power port. Okay. Very interesting. It's got a headphone jack, which is great. That's cool too. But yeah, that is a really cool one for $799. Not bad in terms of having that many. Like I said, now this is really important too. If you have SDI, now SDI is cool. The problem with SDI is that SDI is not and this is temporarily out of stock for some reason. So it's not not available on B&H. I just noticed that, but maybe it's coming back. I know that, who said this? Technical department said that it is something to look out for. So I wonder if it's not even out yet. Or maybe it was out for a second and it just got sold out. But SDI is really good for long runs. So you might use it as an intermediary cord and break it down as a HDMI cable on both ends. Sent you an email. Please check when you have the time. Sure thing, Tony. Forgive me if I missed it. If you sent it a while back, my emails were getting overloaded because I was getting a notification every time somebody downloaded the Bible, and I just stopped paying attention to them because I was like, everything's the same. All these different free downloads, which was cool, but it bogged down my email, and so I've just figured out a way to turn that off. So I'm a little bit late to the game on that, but I did figure it out. So I'm grateful for that. So I will check it out. Let me know, when did you send it, Tony? Was it this week or was it like months ago? Because I did find some emails that I missed months ago, so forgive me. I didn't see yours yet, but if you sent it months ago, that is completely on me. And anybody else, forgive me. What other questions do you guys have? Great comments. I love that. So the Go Stream Duet is coming out soon, hopefully. Again, it's temporarily out of stock now. The Rodecaster Video S is, I would say, a number one top running one for me. If I had to start over or start with live streaming and switching, I would probably pick that one. Okay, just now. Perfect. Okay. I'll definitely check it out. But let me know if you guys have any other questions. In the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. It's 1:00 here. I've been talking to you guys for a long time, and I apologize if it was too long, but hopefully we learned a lot. We figured out the syncing thing. Hopefully you can go back and look at this, but you'll see in the future video that's going to be just dedicated for that. That'll be pre-recorded in a sense, so you guys can see that as well. And there'll probably be bigger screens. I'll share those screens a little bit bigger than splitting them at the same time, so you can see that. And we talked about the stage view. My friend Brian Matua Lumumba from Kenya, I believe, if I remember right, had a question about how to make that reference not show up there, but show up in the audience, but not on the stage to save space. Really cool idea. And I think that was it in terms of major questions. We talked about the audio issue. Make sure your audio is on in your FreeShow output settings. Turn on the audio. Just turn on NDI does not automatically turn on audio for NDI. So make sure that's on as well. And you should see it on your scene. It'll automatically bring the audio in when you select that scene. The not physical, but the NDI source it automatically puts a audio channel in the audio mixer in OBS is what it should be doing for videos and everything. So if it's not doing that, you guys can always set up a consultation with me. Those are $60 for 30 minutes. And we do our best to try to do as much as we can in that 30 minutes. If we run over, we just invoice and pay the rest like through Cash App or something like that. But if you do need that, feel free to go to my website, GaryBJr.com, to check it out. And you can always schedule some time. I try to schedule time or make time available in the morning before I go to work, and then also right after work in the evening as well, in my time. At least I'm on the East Coast. And for some of you guys, that'll be varying different times, which would be hopefully useful. But I don't have a lot of time usually in the middle of the days, typically. All right. It's usually in the evening or morning. All right. So with that being said, God bless you all. Have a great rest of the day, and I will talk to you next time.